Hey guys, gals, and attack helicopters. This is the Mad Master doing another video. And know it's been quite a while since I've done a video. I'm going to try to be doing a lot more because I feel like I have something to say, even if people don't always like it, but I don't give a shit. So, I recently got to finally coming around to seeing the new Star Wars The Last Jedi. And I was expecting a pile of really turgid donkey shit, puke and bile and the innards of a cat exemplified in the movie. But honestly, I actually enjoyed it, to my surprise and probably people's chagrin. So this video is entitled 5 Reasons Why The Last Jedi Was Good. And it wasn't a perfect movie by any means. There were several subplots I thought could have been better. But actually, I liked it more than Force Awakens, and probably anything since the original trilogy. Other than maybe parts of Revenge of the Sith were pretty good. So, I'm going to start out this list. And number 5, Luke Skywalker being there again. By far, he's my favorite character and one of the ones with the most development. I don't know if it's just nostalgia or that I feel a personal identification with him and his story. Since he has a lot of screen time during the film, it's natural that I enjoy this entry for that reason alone. Or his entry, I should say. I guess it's just being a child who grew up idolizing the character and having him be away so long. It's a wonder to see him played on the big screen again. So the second part of why I enjoyed this film, especially more than Force Awakens, is that Rey is really not a Mary Sue in this film. To me, in the first of the new trilogy, The Force Awakens, she kind of was a Mary Sue. You know, she had so many different powers that you wouldn't expect. And, you know, there's a lot of mental gymnastics that preclude, saying that maybe she wasn't, or, but I mean, I'm thinking that basically she was just a little bit too powerful. This time around, she's not. She actually has flaws and weaknesses, as seen in the torture scene with Snoke. She seems to not have as many powers that come naturally to her as in the last film. And her scenes with Luke were especially poignant, I thought. I found the flaws with Rey in general from Force Awakens redeemed in this film. I found her to be way more varying in emotion and intent, and just a more fleshed out character. Now, number 3, my third reason why I thought this was a good movie was it was just a beautiful movie. I mean, the aesthetics of the film were perfect. The days of the prequels with their tacky color schemes and overly used CGI are gone. And even though many people did not enjoy the Casino Planet scenes, I actually did. And then the breathtaking scenery of the old Jedi Temple, of course, as well. Now the final one, or maybe it would be number 1 for me, would be I thought that Luke Skywalker's story arc was deep and moving. Despite what fans and even Mark Hamill himself voiced as far as doubts about the part of the plot involving Skywalker, I found it to be the best part of the film. Big surprise, right? Skywalker always had an undercurrent of angst, just like his father did, whether it be in Return of the Jedi or even parts of Empire, and this shows in the film. It shows a side of reality beyond the black and white notions of the Force, and a bit of moral ambiguity and complexity, ultimately making it a better film than Force Awakens. To me, his character showed the inner conflicts that he had with regards to dealing with his nephew turning to the dark side, and his frustration with his old religion, the Jedi religion. And that's a theme we see in many books and films. Think of it this way. Watch The Last Temptation of Christ or read the novel. To say that that book or film, is sacrilegious is missing the point. It's actually exalting in the higher beliefs of Jesus by showing a path to redemption. In a similar way, I think The Last Jedi takes us to the brink of the death of the old Jedi beliefs, but then takes it back and redeems it in the end. You can see the books are saved on the Millennium Falcon by Rey, the books of the old Jedi religion. And Luke, by sacrificing himself one last time, is truly redeemed in the film after having been a fallen hero. I mean, we don't watch the Rocky films expecting Rocky to be fulfilled all the time and win every fight. We see the conflict within Rocky and the heights he must climb to regain his composure and success. This happens to Luke in the film, and to see the inner struggle that he had made this film, to me, to be one of the better Star Wars films. Definitely better than The Force Awakens and probably the prequels. So that's all for this analysis. I had watched almost every negative review of The Last Jedi before I even watched The Last Jedi. So maybe my expectations were pretty low, but I really enjoyed this film. I really did. There were bad parts of it. You know, I didn't like Laura Dern's character. I did like her in Twin Peaks, the revival Twin Peaks. And she's actually kind of a snotty character in there, too. It's kind of interesting. So I did enjoy, and this is another spoiler alert I probably should have done earlier. I did enjoy Finn's near sacrifice near the end, and even some of what Poe did. And a lot of fans complained about this movie because of the supposed subversion of the Star Wars formula. Well, to me, it seemed like a more grown-up version of what, you know, would have happened. The film made the ideas of the films, or, you know, the previous films, more three-dimensional and deep. I mean, people forget what George Lucas intended for the original films. He was very influenced by Eastern thought and philosophy or religion, which is actually way less polarized than Christianity. The Force may have the dark side and the light side, but it's an alluring idea to have some gray areas in between. I don't think that by the end of the film, that's even, you know, relevant anymore, though, because it kind of settles itself in the end. And it is teased at, you know, subverting those conventions, and that's why I quite love this film as far as being in the Star Wars universe. I don't really know what the fuck the fans were really complaining about, because at the end, you know, you see that everything's back to normal. So, and I think time will tell where this film fits in the pantheon of Star Wars. I don't really care about one way or the other what fans think. I'm a Star Wars fan since I was a little kid, but I don't really like obsess over little things about every detail as far as Star Wars goes. I'm not that much of a geek or nerd to be able to do that all the time. But, you know, there are a few things that with the Kathleen Kennedy Disney acquisition of the Star Wars franchise that I do not like. But as far as this film, I was pleasantly surprised and shocked how much I liked it. I just thought it was a good film. And I liked Rian Johnson's previous films like Looper as well. So I wasn't surprised, but at the same time I was, because a lot of relevant people on YouTube that bash the film, I kind of bought into their narrative about how it would turn out when I watched it. So that's all. Please subscribe, and please leave some bad comments and downvotes and stuff, because I love it. So I will see you soon, because I am going to do a fuckload of new videos.